everyone. Lisa Haven here. Well, Joe Biden's failures are becoming evident and clear with the chaos that is now breaking out in Afghanistan. And instead of the Department of Homeland Security focusing their eyes on real terrorist threat, no, they have their eyes on you, the patriots, the conservatives, the Trump supporters, those who believe that our election was stolen, or anyone who is against COVID-19 restrictions and mandates. No joke. I mean, things are not looking good for Biden and his administration, and things are going to hell in a handbasket here in the United States of America. And I've got so much to show you in today's report. But before I get into it, I just want to remind you, please check out Virtual Shield at hidewithlisa.com. Look, if you don't have a VPN, then you are behind the times. A VPN really keeps your privacy in your own neighborhood. And what a VPN does is it acts as if you're looking on another internet or a computer completely. So that's the beauty of a VPN. It keeps your information private. Check it out at hidewithlisa.com and take advantage of that 30-day free trial and up to 50% off there for life. All right, so just what on earth is happening over in Afghanistan? Well, as many of you know, the Biden administration pulled out the troops and now he is backtracking and all hell is breaking out as he sends more troops in. Take a look at this first article here, and this is on msnnews.com. Scenes of chaos erupt at Kabul airport after Taliban seizes control of Afghanistan. KYMA.com. Taliban takeover of Kabul sparks desperate attempts to flee. NBC Richards Engel reports. TheSun.co.uk. Kabul chaos. Horror footage appears to show stowaways falling to death after clinging to outside of plane as thousands are literally fleeing the area. And then we have Massive.com. U.S. officials say 7 killed in Kabul airport. Evacuation chaos as Taliban takes Afghanistan capital. Breitbartnews.com. Taliban declares victory. Islamic of Afghanistan. And then we also have theguardian.com. First thing, Taliban declares that the war is over as Kabul falls. So as you can see, all hell is literally breaking out. We have the Taliban taking over there in Kabul, and they're declaring that the war is over. Meanwhile, Joe Biden is, just coming back from vacation. He knew this kind of crap was going to break out. And Psaki, right, completely, just takes a little bit of a break. Let me show you those two news articles here. We have FoxNews.com. Psaki is out of the office as Biden remains silent on Taliban takeover of Afghanistan. And of course, Biden now coming back from his vacation. Newsweek.com. Biden ends his vacation early as chaos rages in Afghanistan. Will address the nation. And here's a question that I have. Why is Biden, why did he even go on vacation, which seems to be like an occurrence that happens really, really often, like literally on nearly a quarter of the time that guy is gone on some kind of quote unquote vacation. And one can't help but ask the question, who the heck is pulling the strings here in the United States of America when you're gone 1/4 of the time, right? And is he going back to being summoned by his puppet master? In fact, I actually, and I'll show you guys this because I think this is also awesome as well. They quoted me here on SputnikNews.com. Puppet master is calling back his puppet. What may be behind Biden's vacation amid the Taliban surge? And they actually quoted me in this article, and I want to share it because I think it really does answer the question. And it begs, and this is my quote, Lisa Haven, founder of RestrictedRepublic.com. By the way, if you're not on Restricted Republic, you need to get there. There's a reason that I'm on there. And by the way, I'm going to do a second half of this video on RestrictedRepublic.com. If you want to hear more to this story that I'm going to share exclusively on Restricted Republic, you got to get over there. And right now you can use the code 20 and the number 20 and the word off to get $20 off the annual subscription. But get over there and subscribe on YouTube. But here it is. Here's what I said. And this was quoted on Sputnik. It begs a much deeper question as towards what would lead to the decision to abandon the growing crisis of the southern border crumbling and Afghan igniting. One can only conclude there must be an overriding necessity necessity to depart. So it begs the question, who is he meeting with and what direction is he being given? Nothing else other than some kind of health issue, which is a real possibility too, or ignorance would be an acceptable answer. I believe the puppet master is calling back his puppet. And that's what I believe is going on here. And especially now, right, he withdraws his troops and now we're sending more troops back into the area, obviously because of the chaos. Here we have ABC News. Another 1,000 troops are heading to Kabul, bringing the total to 6,000. And they're tearing down the U.S. flags there, I guess, to prevent some of the chaos that is happening. Meanwhile, we've got the wokest general in the world, General Miley, right, who was all worried about white rage, right? General Miley, and this is an older article, MSN.com. I want to understand white rage, and I'm white. I got to understand white rage, and literally all hell is breaking out because he's more worried about white privilege and white rage and critical race theory training in our military, which is a completely racist propaganda, instead of Afghan. But now he's come out and said something about that. The U.S., the sun.co.uk, Taliban threat. General Miley warns of terror threat to the U.S. Homeland Security after Afghan falls to Taliban and U.S. ambassador flees Kabul. Right? So now he's a little bit all worried about the Taliban. And here's another thing that I want to say. While they're all making this, there's an epic failure. There was a right way to do things, pulling them out. He could have done it in a different way than just all at once. And instead, the way that Biden did it, all hell literally broke out. And I understand we're spending way too much freaking money over Afghanistan, and we have to we should have done it a different and better way, but I digress. Hell is breaking out, and instead of the Department of Homeland Security worried about radical threats like Taliban and ISIS and Hamas and all these radical organizations, nope, DHS put out a freaking bulletin saying, nope, the biggest threat right now to the United States of America is literally not the Taliban, not Hamas, not ISIS. It's people who believe that the election was stolen and people who are against COVID-19 mandates and freedom-stealing policies. No joke, and I'm just livid about it. Potential terrorist threats, and this was published on NBC Nightly News, right? Potential terrorist threats, opposition to COVID measures, claims of election fraud, belief Trump can be reinstated, and then at the bottom, 9/11 anniversary and religious holidays. Now, in case you don't believe it, here's the actual bulletin, and I'm going to read you portions of it. Here's the summary. It goes into effect August 13th, right around the time that the chaos broke out in Afghanistan. Let's just put this attention on something else. We're going to just focus this on domestic people instead of, what's going on. But hey, I digress. The Secretary of Homeland Security has issued a National Terrorist Advisory System bulletin regarding the current heightened threat environment across the U.S. The homeland continues to face a diverse and challenging threat environment leading up to and following the 20th anniversary of September 11th attacks, as well as religious holidays we assess could serve as a catalyst for acts of targeted violence. Okay, now 9/11 is tied to, people who believe the election was stolen and people who are against COVID mandates. Well, these threats include those who are posted by domestic terrorists, individuals and groups engaged in grievance-based violences, and those inspired or motivated by foreign terrorists and other malign force influences. These actors are increasingly exploiting online forums to influence and spread violent extremist narrative and promote violent activity. Such threats are also exacerbated by impacts of the ongoing global pandemic, including September 11th events linked to, including grievances over public health safety measures and perceived government restrictions. Wait, what? Yeah. And here's the details. Through the remainder of 2021, racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists, that are called RMVEs, and anti-government, anti-authority violent extremism will remain a national priority for the U.S. So you can't be against the government, apparently. These extremists may seek to exploit the emergence of COVID-19 variants by viewing the potential reestablishment of public health restrictions across the U.S. as a rationale to conduct attacks. Pandemic-related stressors have contributed to increase social strains and tensions, driving severe plots by domestic violent extremists, and they may contribute to more violence this year. And of course, they bring in the people who believe the election fraud. There are also continued non-specific calls for violence on multiple online platforms associated with domestic violent extremist ideology and or conspiracy theories on perceived election fraud and alleged reinstatement and responses to anticipated restrictions relating to the increasing COVID cases. Ba, 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 ba. So, don't worry about what's happening in Afghanistan. Nope. The biggest threat to the United States of America is domestically. And it's those people who believe the election was stolen or believe that COVID-19 restrictions are not okay. What? Like, for real. In other words, a majority of Trump supporters and Christians and conservatives and a lot of people like that. You know, it just also happens to be on one side, but never an advisory board on left-wing extremism. Nothing, not a word. This is insanity. I don't know about you, but Joe Biden is the most tyrannical president we have ever had to date. Talk about somebody who openly talks about mandating things on a federal level. He's now even talking about having checkpoints set up at all the borders, right? Putting checkpoints in borders so you can check your V-jab status when you cross a freaking border. In other words, if you, for whatever reason, this is I'm going to expand on that in Restricted Republic, but this is the most tyrannical president we have ever had. It's time to impeach that guy. I have some harsh words. MSNNewsweek.com, impeach Joe Biden. Those calls grow after Taliban seize power of Afghanistan. Amen. You want more on this? Get on over to restrictedrepublic.com and check it out. Expand on it. But get on over there and check out the truth of what's really going on and use the coupon code 20OFF to get $20 off the entire first year. Now is the time to start preparing because the hell is hitting the fan. Hell is hitting the fan in Afghanistan. Crap is hitting the fan, and it's hitting the fan here in the United States of America. And we got to start taking those precautions and just supporting each other. Get to restrictedrepublic.com. Anyhow, I love all of you. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.